Opera Tots with Pittsburgh Festival Opera, and today we're going to have a workshop that's a little bit different than the ones we've had before since we're not in school. So, we are still going to talk about the opera that we were talking about, and we're still going to warm up our bodies and our voices, but what I want you to do is I want you to follow along everything that I do here on screen. Does that sound like a good plan to you? Great. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I want everyone to stand up and we are going to warm up our bodies. So, can you all run in place? Just like that, wonderful. Okay, now while you're running in place, wiggle your fingers. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle, 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 wiggle. And now wiggle your head. And wiggle your shoulders. And your elbows. And your feet. And now wiggle your whole body. And then stop. Very good. Okay. Now, we are going to do a little song where I need you to listen to the motions and follow what my voice says to do that with your body. The song goes like this. Skipping, 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 hop, 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 hop. Twirling, 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 twirling. Now we stop. Now we stop. Tiptoe, 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 tiptoe. Clap, 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 clap. Swimming, 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 swimming. Now we stop. Now we stop. Spinning, 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 spinning. Touch your nose, touch your nose. Reach your hands up high and reach your hands down low. And now we sleep. Now we sleep. Very good. Okay, now we are going to warm up our voices a little bit so we can have our most beautiful singing voices so we can sing about what an opera is. So the first thing I want you all to do is make the letter V just like this. Very good. All right, so the way that you do that is you put your top teeth on your lower lip and buzz out a bunch of air. Now pretend you're a buzzy bee flying around. Very good. All right, now we are going to move our voices up and down on our buzzy bee sound. So listen to what I do and repeat after me. One more. Excellent. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move our voices with you following my magic finger. So my finger is going to start up high and then go down low and then come up high again. And what I want you to do is I want you to move your voice the same direction and speed as my finger. So I'll sing along with you and I want you to sing along at home. Ready? All right, now we're going to try something a little bit different with that. We'll start on this side this time. Hey! Hey! Very good. All right, now we're going to add in some loops, like a roller coaster. Do you like roller coasters? I love roller coasters. So I want you to imagine, if you don't like roller coasters, that's also totally fine. So you can imagine that you're watching a roller coaster. Because even if you don't like to ride roller coasters, I think they are pretty fun to watch because you watch everyone on the roller coaster screaming and getting so excited. It's very, very fun. All right, so roller coaster loop-de-loops. Let's go backwards on the roller coaster. Wonderful. All right, now we are going to do a tongue twister to warm up our lips because when we sing, it's very important that we can articulate the words very clearly so everyone in the audience knows exactly what we're saying. So, we're going to use one that I think you already know. We talked about it in some of our earlier sessions, and that is Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Do you remember? All right, that's great. Even if you don't remember, we're going to go over it again. So get your mashers ready. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Great. Now we're going to do that as low as we possibly can. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Now as high as you possibly can. And as slow as you possibly can. Mommy made me mash my... Take a breath if you need to. M&Ms. And as fast as you can, 3 times. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. How did you do? I got a little tripped up. It's a little easy because when you go so fast, then your tongue gets all twisted up, which is why we call it a tongue twister. Let's do it again, 3 times fast. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. 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 Wonderful job. All right, now that we have our voices and our mouths all warmed up, let us sing our opera song. Do you remember our opera song? Wonderful. An opera is a story, and all the words are sung. I want you to sing a little bit louder than that, even though you are at home. I want everyone in your house to hear your beautiful voice. So let's try that one more time. An opera is a story where all the words are sung. Very good. Now, do you remember the name of the opera that we were talking about? You do? Wonderful. It is Rusalka. Now, what is Rusalka about? That's right. It's about mermaids and magical castles under the sea and a prince and a sea witch and a king. Let's go over some of the characters together. Who is this? That's right, this is Rusalka. And Rusalka, more than anything in the world, wants to become a human so she can be with her prince. And who is this? It's the Sea King. The Sea King is Rusalka's father. And does he want her to go up to the human world? No, he's a little worried about her. He's worried that she's going to get hurt. And who is this? This is Jezi Baba. She is magical and a little bit evil, and she does help out Rusalka. When Rusalka comes to Jezi Baba and says, "Can you please help me become a human?" What does she say? She says yes. But there is one condition. Rusalka needs to give Jezi Baba her voice. Yeah, she needs to give her voice, her singing voice and her speaking voice, so then when she's up on land, she can't sing or talk to the prince. So she needs to find other ways to communicate with him. And finally, we have the prince. And the prince is a human, and he is in love with Rusalka, and Rusalka is in love with him. Now, when we last finished talking about our story, we had 3 people who were under a spell. Do you remember who was under a spell? We had Rusalka, who was a human and had no voice. We had Jezi Baba, who was also a human, but she had a voice. And she came to the prince's party dressed up to try to steal the prince from Rusalka. And then also, the Sea King was also under a spell. He also transformed himself into a human and came up to the surface to try to protect Rusalka. Now, after a lot of things that go on at the party, Rusalka and the prince do get to live together happily ever after. But here's where the story might end a little bit differently than the story that you know already. Instead of living on the land, Rusalka and the prince decide to live under the sea together. How is that different from the story you might already know? Yeah, in other versions of the story, the mermaid chooses to live on the land. But in this story, the mermaid chooses to live under the sea with her prince. What do you think you would decide? That's a great option. I don't know what I would decide. It would be a very hard choice because there'd be so many new and exciting things to explore above the surface, but I also would miss my family and friends under the water. Yeah, it'd be pretty hard to decide. Now, I want to let you all know something very special since this is our last workshop together. You will still get to see a mini performance of the opera Rusalka, except it's going to be over a video, just like this. Now, before you see that video, we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to be a good audience member. Right now, it's a little bit different to be an audience member because you're going to be watching it all by yourself in your house. Or maybe you'll watch it with a brother or sister, or your mom or dad, or grandma, grandpa, whoever lives with you. But if you go to see something in a theater, the rules for the audience are a little bit different. So I would ask all of you to try to follow those rules for the audience while you're watching this opera at home. Now, the rules aren't very strict, and a lot of them are very, very fun. So I want you to listen closely so you can learn about how to be an excellent audience member. First of all, what is an audience? An audience is whoever sits and watches a show in a theater. It could be in a movie theater. Have you ever been to a movie? Yeah, so then you've been an audience member before. You sat in the movie theater quietly and you watched the movie on screen and you enjoyed everything that went on. And have you ever been to a theater where it wasn't a movie, but there were real people on stage? Well, if you have, that's wonderful. And if you haven't, I hope that you get to experience that very, very soon. Now, when you are an audience member, seeing real people performing on stage, the people are real, just like you and me, and so they can hear everything that you are saying or any sound you're making, and they can see whatever you're doing in the audience. So it's really important to be quiet during the performance so you don't disturb them on stage, and to show your appreciation if you like what they're doing. Now, the easiest way to do that is by clapping your hands. I think all of you have done that before. Can you all show me an example of what clapping your hands looks like? Wonderful. Now that is the easiest way we can show somebody on stage that we liked what they did. Now in opera, there are some fancy words we like to use to say wonderful job to certain groups of people. Now, if we have just a boy who is singing on stage, and maybe it's the prince or the sea king, and he's singing and he's doing a wonderful job, and so you give him a round of applause. You can also say, bravo. Can you try that for me? Bravo. So clap together, bravo, bravo. Now, if it's just a girl singing on stage, you use a different word. It's a little bit different. It's an Italian word. The other word is an Italian word also, but we just changed the ending of the word to mean that we're talking about a girl. If it's a girl on stage, we say brava. So can I hear you all say that? Wonderful. Now clap your hands and say brava. Brava. And if there's a whole group of people on stage, it could be mixed boys and girls, we have one last word that we say to express that we really enjoyed what everyone has been doing, and that is bravi. Can you try that? All right, now let's clap our hands and say bravi, bravi. Wonderful job. Now, clapping is one of the easiest things we can do in the theater. And I have a few more questions for you. Do you think it is a good idea to talk or whisper to your friend when you are watching a show? No, it's not, because it's very distracting for other people in the audience and also for the actors on stage. And is it okay to cry during a show if something in it makes you sad? Yeah, it's okay to cry, because sometimes when we see stories on stage, they really move our heart and they can make us feel a lot of emotions. They can make us feel really happy, or sometimes really sad because we're worried about what's happening to the characters on stage. So absolutely, you can cry. But hopefully this story, because it does have a happy ending, won't make you cry too much. And finally, what do you think one of the most important parts of being a good audience member is? It is to go in with a positive attitude and a smile on your face, because it is such a special experience to see a live performance, whether it's an opera, a ballet, a play, a musical, whatever it might be. It is a very special experience to go to the theater and see people perform on stage. And the experience that you're going to be getting with this opera, where you'll see a video, is also a very special experience because this is the only time we're ever doing it like this. So it's going to be the first time we've tried this, and it's going to be very special because we made it for each and every one of you in mind. It's just for you. So, I hope you've enjoyed learning about the opera Rusalka and a little bit more about singing and performing, and I hope that you enjoy the performance that we will be doing for you. Bye!